Do you want to go away? It's the question that Jesus asked his disciples today. And he certainly asked each of us today. Do you also want to go away? Because the teaching of Jesus is difficult. It is not easy to say yes to him. Why? Because life is a lot like a maze. It's nice if we could draw a straight line through it and reach our destination. But the maze of life is not an easy game. Why? Experience is that we live in a broken world. So I ask you today, do you ever come to that hollow place in your life? Sometimes more often than we would choose. Wondering if anyone really cares. We look around here today. You could probably almost reach out and touch someone who is hurting, those in pain, so many facing the tragedy of sickness and illness, foreclosure, divorce and separation, betrayal, loneliness. There's a lot of hollow places that we experience here, even in this congregation, even among us as God's people. Think of all the hollow places in people's lives out there. Somehow it seems like life should be easier. Or at least being a Christian should make life easier, shouldn't it? Somehow we should have an in. Being faithful to God should be an easier way. But don't you think Jesus asked that question? Don't you think that Jesus knew that hollow place in his life? Especially when his disciples abandoned him. Especially when he was standing before Pilate. Especially before, as he was walking up the hill of Calvary. Don't you think he felt that hollow place in his life up there? Now, some people have said that image of Jesus is a very difficult image of Jesus. It would be nicer to have a more antiseptic crucifix up there. One that didn't show the agony and the pain. But the message of God was that God would show and be with us and share that hollow place in our lives. My God, why don't you care? Life is not a straight line. Christianity is not a panacea against sickness, against bad news, against bad memories, against accidents or death. It's like a maze. Has a lot of crooked lines in it. And we experience many of those crooked lines. And sometimes even the dead ends, where we have to retrace our life and go back. So following Jesus is difficult. It was never meant to be easy. And so Jesus says, as a Christian, as a disciple who is gathered here today, do you also want to go away? For Jesus, for the disciples, for each one of us, the question comes, where do we go? Who or what will we find at the crossroads of our suffering and our hope? Who or what will we find at the crossroads of those moments of despair and those moments of faith? I come here today I can count on my fingers the families with loved ones sick or dying, who are struggling to trust that there is a God who really does care. I come here today aware that there are children all over our country that are starving, just waiting to see if anyone cares. I come here today knowing that among you and those outside of these walls, there are hearts that are broken and breaking. And they're just standing there in that hollow place saying, does anyone really care? So the Lord asked me again today, and the Lord asked you, do you want to go away? The best I can tell you, and the most honest I can tell you, is that at least for me today, and I hope for you, the answer is, but Lord, to whom would we go? God bless you.